I'm going to show you now how to use the dough proving and bread baking function on the Vario steam oven. There is a designated function called dough proving, which allows you to double your bread dough in size in half an hour. So you just find the dough proving function, which is like a little tin of bread. You have two variants, 1 and 2, one for a smaller loaf or rolls, and level 2 for a larger loaf, and it will rise it better. It's preset at 30 minutes, which is the perfect time for raising your bread dough to double the size. Instead of having to put it into the airing cupboard or into a warm place in the kitchen, it's so easy just to pop it into your Neff oven for half an hour. So here goes my bread dough. I've made a tear and share loaf here, a cinnamon tear and share loaf, and I'm just going to pop this in for half an hour on that function. So we'll let that bread proof for half an hour, and then we'll see how it's risen, and then I'm going to speak to you about how to cook your dough once your bread dough is risen on the bread baking function in the oven. Okay, so the bread has now finished on the bread proving function. I'm just going to get it out of the oven. You can see how it's grown in size. I'm just going to glaze the bread with some beaten egg, and just give it a lovely glaze and a lovely shine when it goes back into the oven on bread baking. It's really important that you make sure that your oven is already preheated before you put your proven bread back into bread baking function, so the oven's nice and hot. Now, the designated bread baking function on your Neff appliance is a high intense circotherm heat, and it shows you on the oven what is bread baking. I'm just going to come over here and show you. So the bread baking function is a little loaf of bread, as you can see here, with a line under it, and it's an intense circotherm heat, so it's using the fan on a higher temperature. So I've set it for 200, so I'm just going to pop in my approved loaf now. And that goes in, and I'm going to set that for 25 minutes, and that should have a lovely baked outer crust and be very crispy and moist as well. Now, what I can do, which I think I'm going to do, is add a little bit of steam. Because it's a Vario steam oven, I'm going to put medium amount of steam in there, because that will help for my bread to rise, but it will also help with the moistness of the bread once it's cooked as well. So 200 degrees on the oven, medium amount of steam on the bread baking function, and I'll put the timer on there for about 25 minutes until it's nice and brown and nice and crispy, and then we'll be ready to go. So you can see the bread has cooked beautifully. It's lovely and brown, as you can see there, so that's ready to come out. Lovely and baked and nice and crisp. We then decorated it, so we now moved on to the finished bread, and what I've done is just melted down some apricot jam with a tablespoon of water and just glazed to give that lovely shine on the tear and share loaf. I've then just sprinkled some almonds and some cherries, put a little bit of water icing over the top, and you've got a beautiful tear and share cinnamon rolls. Proved in the proving oven in Neff in the proving function, and then baked in the bread function on the Neff oven.